Hi everyone, my name is Janelle, and for this assignment I wrote, I am a woman, therefore I am weak. I personally do not believe in that statement. I think it's invalid, it's incorrect. I simply think it's false. There are others who are going to agree with me, and of course there's going to be others who are going to disagree of what I have to say. But as women, we are not weak. As women, we are strong, and we know that society before has told us that women had to fight for their own rights, and it's crazy enough that women had to, and we weren't being seen equal as to the other genders, specifically men. And it's simply mind-blowing how women back then didn't have the same rights that women have today. As an instance, voting rights, we know that women had to fight for that, and that's why women can vote nowadays. And there's just many other ways that show how society simply thought women that were inferior and weren't capable of doing certain things, or and they believe that women should be acting a certain way, doing certain things, wearing certain clothing. And then as women, I feel like we're being seen as weak and fragile in different instances, not as what we vividly saw before, but still as women we are targets. And I think it's important to continue to empower women, and the whole idea of feminism kind of stemmed from the women's right movement. I feel like women shouldn't be limited to what they can or cannot do, and it's very disencouraging of how women have to feel like targets. And with that being said, I feel like my actions or behavior do affect this perception solely due to what I've experienced mainly, as well as what I've seen on the media or what I've seen other women face. I am sure other women could say their deal of why they agree to this perception, but I feel like as women we are living in a judgmental zone. And with that being said, I feel like anyone with any identity is entitled to live somewhere, or live or be somewhere where they feel comfortable in their own skin or their own identity. I feel like there's a stigma still circulating around, and there are different factors that contribute to the stigma. I want to say culture is one of the factors that influence this stigma. Coming from a Filipino culture, I feel like within the Filipino culture they have this image where women should be doing certain things because they are a woman. Like, it's still kind of sad how I personally had experienced that, since I'm a woman living in a Filipino household, that I couldn't be doing this, or I should be doing this instead. But if I was a man, then I would get the okay of doing that. And going into more details for you to understand, for instance, since I do identify as a woman, I should be doing more of the household chores and whatsoever, like cleaning and doing all the dishes and whatsoever. I don't necessarily have a problem with that, but the fact that it stems from the idea because women were housewives, most women were housewives back in the day, has still carried on to how I live, is crazy. And it still hurts that there are other women who have to experience it like me. And I also think another instance that I could bring up is, it's considered a more masculine thing to be working out, especially with heavy weightlifting. I feel like I was discouraged that I shouldn't be doing that because women shouldn't be looking as muscular and bulky like most men. And I think that kind of ideology is unacceptable, because I feel like anyone should be entitled to feel comfortable in how they look and how their body looks. And we shouldn't be told that we can't look like that, or we shouldn't be doing that, or we can't lift that way because we're women and we're not strong enough. I think this also goes along, if people do believe women are weak, that it can play a role in a work setting. It may contribute to harassment. It may contribute to a wage gap that sadly employers may still use nowadays. But after saying all that, I think this does or could affect my relationship with others. I necessarily try to refrain from surrounding myself with that kind of energy and voice out as needed. And it really makes me reflect on my self-worth and self-confidence and how I think of other women's self-confidence if I see that happening. You know, I always like to encourage and hype the women around me that we're capable of doing anything we want as long as we put our heart to it, and we shouldn't feel limited because someone said so or society just told us so. So with that being said, I want to reject that phrase that I'm a woman, therefore I'm weak. Instead, I want to say that I am a woman, therefore I am strong. And if you do identify as a woman, I would like to say we are women, therefore we are strong.